Hey stars, it's me, Shorter Star, and I'm back. I hope you guys had a great holiday, Thanksgiving. I hope you spent time with your family and your friends and didn't eat too much. Um, Here, personally, we stayed home. It was a very quiet holiday. Um, the weather has changed dramatically here in New York, New Jersey area, so it's really cold. Winter is about to kick in. And so we decided to stay in. We had another couple, which is family, over, and we just celebrated Thanksgiving and had dinner, cooked dinner together, had dinner together, and that was it. My first story, surprise, is going to be about the NFL and Lil Wayne. Now, I'm sure that many of us know that Kendrick Lamar has been picked to do the halftime show at next year's Super Bowl in February. Well, a lot of people were up in arms and had issues with it because they felt like Lil Wayne should have been the one picked for this particular Super Bowl because it's in his home state. And I kind of agree, but I also understand business. And business is it's about what's hot. And right now, everyone knows about Kendrick Lamar and Drake's beefing back and forth, and they're not like us. You know what I mean? So it's about business. It's about popularity at that point. But I find it diabolical, okay, that allegedly the NFL is contacting Lil Wayne to replace Kendrick Lamar on the halftime for the Super Bowl. Because apparently Drake has filed a lawsuit against Kendrick Lamar. And I'm not quite sure how the lawsuit plays into this, but maybe he won't be able to perform certain songs or say certain things. So I'm not quite sure what the NFL's problem is with it. But again, diabolical for you to go to the person that everyone thought it should have gone to. Well, a lot of people thought it should have gone to. Now you go back to them to backtrack because you have an issue. Now, will Lil Wayne accept? I would assume he would. Who wouldn't? This is an entertainer's dream. The to have a stage this big. What's the bigger stage in the Super Bowl? So I'm sure he will accept. But I mean, I don't know. It didn't seem well thought out. But guess what? It is what it is. Allegedly, we will see who they pick. And guess what? We will see who's going to do it. The halftime game on Super Bowl, period. I don't know. There's a lot of back and forth and up and down, but we're going to move on to California. And I have been doing show stories in my past few videos about Walmart, but please understand that Walmart is one of the biggest employers in this country. So there's always going to be a story about Walmart. Um, I want to pretty much tell you this story without showing you. Picture this, a Walmart worker. She's off on this past Labor Day and the weekend. She's planning a family get together, a cookout with her family that evening. And she receives a phone call on Labor Day morning from her manager at Walmart stating that they were understaffed and that they needed people to come in. And could she come in? And I'm sure she went back and forth because, again, she's home already with her family and they're getting ready for their cookout that evening. But apparently, being a responsible young lady who's at school, she said, I can do both. I can do the shift and then get home and deal and be with my family for Labor Day. So she took the shift. She went in, she did the shift, and the same manager that called her in the morning came to her again asking her, could she stay later because they were still waiting for other employees to come in to fill the spaces. And she stated, no, I'm already covering for someone and I need to get home to my family. But what I need to do first is buy me 2 scratch-off tickets, which she did. Well, guess what? She won $1 million. Yeah, she won $1 million. So it's nice to be nice because guess what? If she wouldn't have accepted the job, she would have never been here to buy that scratch-off ticket to win that $1 million. Okay. So, I mean, it is what it is. It's definitely a blessing. You never know where your blessings are going to come. Um, and it's nice to be nice again. Um, Her name is Rebecca Gonzalez. They didn't give an age in the article, but they stated that um, she gave in her 2 week notice, which they would have found out that day that I was not coming back. But she gave a 2 week notice, again, being responsible. And she put a bid in for a $500,000 house for her and her family. And she paid off all her debt. And she's in school to be a radiologist. So that money would help her with her education. So again, blessings upon blessings. So again, congratulations, Rebecca Gonzalez. And continue being a good person and doing what's right. Um, we're going to go to New Jersey now because we're going to go to New Jersey where a New Jersey man collected his dead father's benefits for 20 years. Now, this is not the first time I've heard of something like this, but I do believe it's the first time that I've heard someone doing it for such a long period of time and getting away with it. Now, within these 20 years, okay, short story. The dad passed in 2004. The son never told whomever who's giving him the benefits, Social Security or whatever, that he passed. So they continue to send the payments. And then within these 20 years, there's been 2 to 3 occasions where he's had to forge his dad's name. That's where the problem came in. The problem came in with, second problem, cashing the checks and spending it in the man's deceased. And also having, they sent update the paperwork, and he filled out the paperwork and updated it and signed his dad's name. So right now he's facing 10 years in prison and a $250 fine, $250,000 fine. I don't know what the circumstances were. I don't know. But again, this is what happens when I just don't understand how a person could collect for 20 years. I don't know, but it happened. He did it, and now he's going to have to pay for it. Well, let's get into some political news, okay? President-elect Donald Trump, right? He's now telling Republicans that the House of Republicans, he won't seek a third term unless they figure out a way to allow it to happen. Now, as I stated in the previous videos, we've only had one president in the United States that was president for 4 terms, and I believe that was Roosevelt. But after that, it's been a law that no president can hold the office longer than 2 terms. And so that's what Donald Trump is now hinting at for the House of Republicans, telling them that we need to pretty much find a way to get rid of that law, such as Roe versus Wade and different things. So, I mean, when you think things can happen, they do happen. So I wouldn't be surprised if they try to get rid of this law where he can run and still hold a 3rd term, if that's possible. I didn't think he would get a 2nd, but here he is. So here we are. Again, a lot of he's already hinting at it when he states, unless you figure out a way to allow it. So it's like, okay, we're going to have to get on that. Well, we're going to stay in the political field for a minute. Vice President Kamala Harris allegedly is saying that she's staying in the fight. Harris reportedly, she's open to run for president again in 2028, okay? Or run for governor of California in 2026. So she has a plan. It's going to be one or the other. And I don't know how you feel. How would you feel about that? With Mr. Trump now trying to change the rules of being able to run the country more than 2 terms, and Vice President Harris running, it could be exactly what we saw again, but maybe on a more even of a playing field. I don't really believe that, but I think it could be better if she has a longer time to run instead of a couple of months. But We'll see is all political. I'm just stating that she states, Vice President Harris states that she's up for another run for the president. And I guess we will see what that will be. We haven't even gotten into Mr. Trump's second presidency yet, so we have a long way to go. But like I said, we'll see within the next 3 years who's running with who, and if Mr. Trump was able to change the rules in his favor. Yeah. Well, also political. What do you think the effects will be with President Biden pardoning his son Hunter? Now, he stated in the past that he would not do it. And apparently, his wife and him are not seeing eye to eye on this. But from what I'm hearing and what is being told, allegedly, that President Biden is getting ready to pardon his son Hunter Biden. Am I mad at it? Absolutely not. We've seen presidents pardon people all the time, and President Trump, when he was president before, he pardoned, and we discussed before, he may even pardon the, what did they call them? The resurrectors? What are they? We would have been called the gang, but the group of people that stormed the Capitol. So he's planning on pardoning them. So am I mad that President Biden is going to pardon his son? Absolutely not. He'll never be president again. And do it. You can do it. Do it. I mean, let's be clear. His son isn't. He's not pardoning him for murder. I believe it's a gun charge and some drug charges. I'm not quite sure, but if you can do it, do it. Why not? We've seen worse. We've absolutely seen worse. Now, I have a medical marijuana story coming out of Jersey, which is medical marijuana now covered as employee benefit in 3 New Jersey municipalities. Okay. And a groundbreaking move for public workers. 3 New Jersey municipalities are introducing medical marijuana coverage as a healthcare benefit. Now, first off, this is Trenton, New Jersey, Orange, New Jersey, and Teaneck, New Jersey. There's only 3 municipalities right now doing this. But what it means is city or state workers in these particular towns in New Jersey, cities in New Jersey, now get discounts at dispensaries and discounts and rebates at any cannabis related service. It's in their benefits. I'm not surprised. I mean, look at the states where medical marijuana is now legal. We never thought that we would see that. So I'm sure now that there's 3, so all you New Jerseyans don't all run out at once. Right now it's only 3. But I mean, listen, I think that there are benefits to marijuana. I think for anxieties, cancer, there's a lot of things that it could be good for. Listen, it is what it is. I'm not mad at it. If it's going to help someone and it's not hurting someone, I'm for it. I don't have a problem with it. We're going to go across the pond a little bit to Sir Elton John. Now, Elton John is now reporting. I've heard he's had some health issues going on, but Elton John says now he has completely lost his eyesight following an eye infection. So because of an eye infection, he is now completely blind. And he's saying that he hasn't been able to attend any charity gala events or perform because he is now blind because of an eye infection. And they're stating that his husband is his primary caretaker now. I heard he had been bedridden, but that's allegedly. But do hear that he has other health issues going on, and he's not a spring chicken. I mean, so continue to pray for him and hope things work out in his favor. That's what we can do. We're going to go to now. Let's see. Well, I'm sure most of you guys, or some of you guys, have heard already that Ashanti and Nelly are expecting baby number two. Well, Ashanti just gave birth to their first child in July of 2024, and now they're announcing in late November, early December that they're now expecting child number two. And I believe Nelly already has kids, but this is the only kids. Ashanti only has one at the time and working on two. Um, I don't see anything wrong with it. It's great that they were together and they broke up and was broke up for years and then get back together and the love fest continues. I have no problem with it. And besides that, Ashanti is becoming a woman of a certain age. And I think this is a great time for her to have kids if that's what she chooses to do and be able to step back a little bit and still have a career and a life, you know? So with that being said, congratulations to Nelly and Ashanti. And listen, love is a great thing because I tell you, it becomes weird. And for them to find each other again, excuse me, guys, for them to find each other again, I have nothing to say. Now, I've told you guys in previous videos that I was going to start giving recommendations of TV shows, movies, things like that, because now we're in the winter months and it's cold. And I'm already starting my hibernation. I stay in. So for those that want to stay in and find something good, I'm going to give you a couple of things that I came across. If I haven't seen it, I'm not going to suggest it until I see it. But right now, I spent the past holiday looking at Cross. I believe it's 8 to 10 episodes. I'm not sure, but I definitely went through the entire thing. Cross is on Prime, and it's a James Patterson. It's from James Patterson novels. And if you remember, Tyler Perry did his version of Cross, and I didn't care for his version, maybe because of his acting. But now that we have real trained actors in doing this, I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it a lot, and I think you will. It's a thriller, it's mystery, it's drama, it's crime, it's action. It's giving you a little bit of everything. So if you're looking for something good, again, that's Cross on Prime TV. Now, I also have, I think I spoke to you guys at earlier video about all the Queen's men. Now, what I would say about that is it's Eva Marcel, and from what I'm understanding, it's um it started back on Thanksgiving night. They put out two they put out two episodes, and which is what they do. And the way it ended in such a bang last season, I just knew that it was going to come in and start it off. Now, it started off the first episode that they released two episodes at a time. The one episode was more so catching us up on what we saw last season and things like that, which was fine. But then the second episode, they kind of got you where you needed to be. So, I mean, Madam is up to her tricks of being Madam. If you want drama, action, definitely action. Strip clubs, men's strip clubs, whatever it is, this show is going to give it to you. This is now in their fourth season. So it's a perfect time now, the cold weather, perfect time to go in and introduce yourself if you haven't. If you didn't know about it, introduce yourself to it and come through the seasons. It's just the second episode. We're now going into episode 3 of season 4 at the end of the week. So again, that is a plus. Again, all the Queen's men. Now, number 3. If you like horror, this would be really good. I'm not that much into horror, but the way the story is being told, that it's not just the same thing. You know what I mean? It's not just the same thing over and over again. So I am more so thinking of this show, which is called From. Now, From is on MGM Plus, and it's in its third season. Now, I've watched it from the first season. My household, we watched it from the first season. Like I said, I'm going to give you a little synopsis because I don't want to scare the people that don't like horror because the story is great. Okay, imagine this. You and your family leaving for vacation or whatever have you. You get on the New Jersey Turnpike. For some reason, you take an exit and it puts you on a road. As you're taking this road, you're you come across this town, a very dilapidated like an old Western town, actually, but with people. But when you attempt to leave the town, you can't. You keep going into circles and keep ending up the same place. So it's like another world, like you went to another, I don't even know for choice of better words, another world, which is familiar with your world. So this has apparently been happening since the 60s and the 70s. So people are arriving at different times. Imagine a bus leaving Port Authority heading down south with 70 people on it, and the bus disappears and you never see or hear from this bus or the people again. Well, they arrive in this particular town, and this is where they are. And you have generations of people in this town. So you're like, wow, it's a town. It has to be pretty much packed. Well, not so much because that's where the horror comes in. Remember, so I'm not going to tell you so much. It's really good, but it's not something you can jump in on the third season. You have to start it from season number 1 to really know where you're at and what's going on and really to understand, you know, the storyline. So I suggest that again. So again, number 1 would be Cross, which is on Prime, which is James Patterson novels. Number 2, All the Queen's Men, which is on BET Plus. Now that's in its 4th season, but you have plenty enough time to catch up. And then you have From, FROM, on MGM Plus, which is in its 3rd season. So I'm now working my way through the 3rd season. Um, and I think you guys would enjoy it. If I haven't watched it, I have a list of shows that I actually have to get into, shows and movies. But if I personally have not watched it and experienced it, I don't recommend it. I don't know. I'm not going to do that because, it's too many times I've gotten into shows where I watched the first and second and tried to give it a chance in the 3rd episode. And by that time, it was trash and I had wasted 3 hours already. So we'll see. But please, if you have a time, Cross, All the Queen's Men, and From. And again, I want to thank you for your continued support and thank you for listening to me and thank you for dealing with. I know you see that I have a new background. I said I wasn't going to do a green screen, and this isn't exactly a green screen, but what it allowed me to do was take a picture of my artwork that I've been hanging behind me and blow it up to where I wanted just that to be my background. So I'm trying different things. Bear with me. Please let me know what you think of this one. I think the coloring is great. I love the colors. And again, be intentional. I love you guys. Have a great week. And I'll speak to you soon. Peace.